Hey everyone, I'm happy to announce this week that I'm launching a free plugin for Unreal Engine 5. The Metaxis AI Perception Tools plugin is designed to extend the functionality of AI perception for more realistic and dynamic AI behaviour. Extending this functionality typically requires using C++, so this plugin is a way to take care of the coding for you and expose the functionality to blueprint-only projects. I'm releasing this plugin for free to coincide with upcoming lessons in our ongoing Enemy AI series, where we've been building a smart enemy AI system inspired by the Xenomorph AI from Alien Isolation. So let's take a look at some of the features the plugin offers in its current beta version, and then I'll show you how to download, install, and set up the plugin for you to use in your own projects. Let's take a look at this NPC character. The character is looking around, searching for enemy targets around his location. However, if we toggle the perception debug, we'll see that our NPC's vision cone isn't moving in line with the character's animations. This is because our actor's eye's viewpoint is attached to the character's collision capsule rather than the skeletal mesh. But with the AI Perception Tools plugin, we can override the actor eye's viewpoint and attach it to a socket on the character's mesh, meaning that our enemy NPC's vision will follow the direction of the character's head. Now, in some cases, this new setup may mean that the character's vision cone may not be aligned directly forwards if the head rotation is tilted, such as when running. We can fix this by enabling the Flatten Sight Forward Axis option in our custom AI controller, or by updating this setting at runtime using the Set Flatten Sight Forward Axis function. And here is the result. Additionally, we can also make changes to our sight configuration at runtime using a number of blueprint-exposed C++ functions. In this example, you'll see live updates for the vision cone half angle, the sight radius and lose sight radius, the point of view backward offset, and the near clipping radius, all occurring at runtime. For now, the plugin is limited to sight perception configuration only, but I've also added two additional functions that extends the AI's memory management and how it forgets actors it's perceived. In the base version of Unreal, there is a function called Forget All, which removes all known actors from the agent's memory. The AI Perception Tools plugin introduces two new functions for more granular memory management. The AI Forget Actor function, which causes the NPC to forget a single actor, such as the player character, and the AI Forget Actors function, which causes the NPC to forget an array of specified actors, while leaving other known actors in memory. But now I'm going to show you how to download, install, and set up the plugin for you to use in your own projects. To get the plugin, go to the Gumroad page linked in the video description. Here, you'll see which versions of Unreal Engine the plugin is currently compatible with. You can download the plugin completely for free, or you can name your own price if you wish to support my ongoing development. Once downloaded, you'll need to unzip the folder. Once you've extracted the contents, this is where you'll find the various versions of the plugin, compatible with each of the corresponding versions of Unreal Engine. There's also a text file with step-by-step install instructions, as well as a separate text file with license information. The plugin is free to use for personal and commercial projects without attribution, but there are certain restrictions around distribution of the plugin, so please take some time to read the licensing information if you want to know more. Now, there are two options for installing the plugin. It can be installed either at the project level, where it will only be available in that specific project, or it can be installed at the engine level, where it can be enabled for any project of the same engine version. I will show you each of those options now, and we will start with installing it at the project level. So for this, you'll need to navigate to the main folder for the project you wish to enable the plugin in. And in this main folder, you will right-click and create a new folder and call this Plugins. Go inside there, and then in this plugins folder you'll simply copy the plugin folder for the corresponding version of Unreal Engine. In this case I'm using Unreal Engine 5.6, so I'll go ahead and copy the contents into this plugin folder. And then once you've done that, the next time you start the project, the plugin will be enabled by default. And we can see this for ourselves by opening up the project and then selecting Edit and Plugins. We can search for the keyword Metaxis, and you'll see that the Metaxis AI Perception Tools plugin is enabled. Go ahead and close out of this project now, and I'll now delete this plugins folder, and I'll show you how to install it at the engine level. To do that, we need to navigate to where Unreal Engine is actually installed on your computer. In this case, I have multiple versions available. I'm going to install this plugin in Unreal Engine 5.6, so we'll go into that folder, then click Engine, and then the Plugins folder, and we'll scroll down to where it says Marketplace. Now, if you don't have this folder, you can go ahead and create a folder called Marketplace. I'll go inside here, and then we just need to copy the corresponding plugin version into this folder. And now if we go back to the same project, we open this up, and now if we go back to plugins and search for Metaxis, you'll find the plugin and you'll just need to enable it. And because the plugin is currently in beta, you may be presented with a warning just advising that the plugin is still in beta. If you are sure you want to enable the plugin, just select yes, and then you'll need to restart the project. And now that our plugin's enabled, let's set up the custom AI controller. I will first show you how to create a brand new AI controller, and then I'll show you how to convert an existing AI controller that you already have. To create a new controller, we can right-click in the content drawer and then select Blueprint Class. And then under all classes, we will search for Metaxis, and we will select Metaxis AI Controller and select. I'll call this AIC Metaxis. And I will open this up. Now, the Metaxis AI Controller is exactly the same as the normal AI controller that you're familiar with. The only difference being is that we now have these additional options over here under the category AI Perception Tools Metaxis Games. We have three settings here: the Enable Override Eyes Viewpoint, which is enabled by default. But in order for this to work, we need to set up our eye socket, which searches for a socket with the corresponding name listed in this entry. So let's go to our character and navigate to the skeletal mesh that we're using. Open this up, and I'm going to add a socket as a child of the head bone. So if we go over to the skeleton tree area here and search for head, I will right click the head and select add socket, and I will call the socket eyes. In order for this to work, the name of the socket needs to match the name that you enter into this field here. Now we just need to align this correctly, and to do that, with the eyes socket selected, we'll press the W key to enter the move gizmo, and we'll just move this in front of the face. And we need the X-axis, which is the red arrow, to point forwards, and the Z-axis, which is the blue arrow, to point upwards. This may currently appear differently for you depending on the skeletal mesh that you're using, but just make sure that X-axis is forward and Z-axis is up. So I will press the E key to rotate this down 90 degrees. So now our X-axis is forward, and we just need to move our Z-axis 90 degrees to point that up. Now you'll also see that there is a slight angle on my particular mesh, so I might even just move this down a further 5 degrees so that we get that nice and flat. And we'll go ahead and save that. And now we just need to assign our custom AI controller. So we'll go to our character blueprint class and select class defaults, and then in the details panel we'll search for AI controller. And then under AI controller class we will select AIC underscore Metaxis, compile, and save. If we go back to our AIC controller, we also need to add our AI perception component. So we'll go over to the components tab and press add and type in AI perception. And we will go ahead and add a sense config of type AI site config, expand out the options, and I will set the site radius to 1000, lose site radius to 1500, and the peripheral vision half angle I'll set to 30 degrees. And we can also add in our detection by affiliation as well if we wish. So we go ahead and press play, and then enter our debug view. You'll see that our vision cone is attached to the eye socket in our skeletal mesh. Now, as discussed earlier in the video, if we go back to our AIC controller and select the root component, I also mentioned the flatten site forward axis option as well. We can enable that by default if we wish and press play. And you'll see that the forward axis has been flattened so that it always faces the forward direction. However, this may not always suit your needs, particularly when the AI might look up or look down. So you can actually change this at runtime as well if you wish. So off of begin play, I'm just going to add in a delay node of 3 seconds. and then I will right click and type in set flatten, and then select the set flatten sight forward axis function, and then we can disable this if we wish. And then I'll just add another delay node and re-enable the function. So we go ahead and press play. You'll see that it is updating in real time, and we can use this function to update as the needs arise. So that's how you can create a brand new AI controller, but I'll also show you how you can convert your current AI controller as well. So let's say we have a standard AI controller that comes with Unreal Engine. In order to convert this into the Metaxis AI controller, we just need to go up the top here and select class settings. And then here you'll see the current parent class, which is AI controller. We can just simply change this to Metaxis AI controller. And now we compile that and then go back to our class defaults. You'll see that those settings have been added to our AI controller. Now, I have noticed sometimes that when converting an AI controller, these settings will sometimes appear further down in the details panel. So if they don't appear up the top here, just have a scroll down and search for them further down in the details panel. Now, our custom AI controller is also compatible with the pawn actor class, not just the character actor class. So if we wanted to create a pawn class, can go to our content drawer and create a new blueprint class of type pawn. The only extra step involved is that we just need to make sure that there is a valid skeletal mesh component. So if we go to the add and type in skeletal mesh, we can add in a skeletal mesh. And of course, we just need to make sure that that skeletal mesh also has the eye socket. I'll add a socket to the head bone. And we just need to make sure that this is aligned correctly. So we need the x-axis pointing forwards and the z-axis pointing up. And there we go. Now I've just added an animation to test that this is working. And I also just need to make sure that in class defaults, we have our custom AI controller assigned. I'll remove our character blueprint and add in our pawn. Now I'll press play and enter debug view. And you'll see that our sight perception is following the drone mesh's line of sight. Now, in the first half of the video, I showed a demonstration of updating the site configuration in real time. To do that, it's fairly simple. If we right-click in the event graph and scroll down to the section called Metaxis AI Perception Tools and open this up, you'll see a number of functions belonging to the site config category. We have a number of get functions to get the current value of our various configurations. And we have a number of set functions which can update the current value of our site configuration. So for example, if we wanted to change the vision cone half angle, we can select this, and we need to feed in a reference to our AI perception component, like so. And before we update our configuration, I'll also get the current value as well to show you how the get function works. So if we drag out our AI perception component again, and then drag off and type in get vision cone half angle, this will retrieve the current configuration for the vision cone half angle. So off of begin play, I will add in a print string and then feed in this value, and I will set that for 3 seconds, and then I'll add in a delay of 3 seconds, and then we will update a new value, and we'll also print the new value as well. Now our current half angle at begin play will be 30 degrees. Let's change this to 90 degrees. This will be quite a dramatic change. So we compile. Now if we go back to our level, now the print string nodes will not work at the same time as our debug information. So I'll show you the debug information first and then the print values second. So if we press play and enter debug view, you'll see that our vision cone half angle has updated to a value of 90 degrees on each side. And now if we just press play, you'll see that we've printed the value of 30 and now it's updated to 90. So both of those functions are working perfectly. So feel free to go through the various get and set functions of the site configurations. And the last thing I'll demonstrate today are the two new AI forget functions. So in this level, I have an AI agent that we will walk in front of so that it registers our perception. And I've also got two NPCs that will follow us as well, like so. So now this AI agent, which has perception, has 3 actors in its memory. So what I'm going to do now is in our AI controller, I will select our AI perception component. I'll scroll down to the bottom and I will add the on-target perception updated event to the event graph. As each actor enters the enemy's line of sight, this event will fire each time. For the purpose of this, I just want to set a delay node of 3 seconds. That's enough time for all our actors to enter the agent's line of sight. And then what I'll do is I'll grab a reference to the AI perception component, drag off and select AI forget actor and hook this up like so. And the actor that we want to forget in this case will be get player character. And hook that up. Now what I'll do is I'll select the AI perception component again, and then in the details panel, scroll all the way down and select on target perception forgotten. Now there is a slight limitation to this system in the plugin versions for Unreal Engine 5.4 and 5.5, but I'll show a workaround for that in one moment. Off on target perception forgotten, I will print a string and then just hook up to string like so. And for this, I will change the color to red. So red will be the color of the actor that we have forgotten. And then back up here, I'm also going to get another reference to our AI perception component and then drag off and get the get known perceived actors. The sense to use, we will select AI site. This is a function that comes with Unreal, which will return an array of actors that are currently in its memory. From this array, we will drag off and type in for each loop and hook that up like so. And then for each element, we will print a string and we will hook up array element to the in string and get the display name of the actor. And we will keep the color as blue. So the actors that get printed to the screen in blue will still be remembered, whereas the actor printed in red will be forgotten. Go ahead and press play, and I will walk through our AI's line of sight, taking our other AI agents with me. And then you'll see here that the third person character has been forgotten, while the other 2 actors remain in memory. Now we can also use the other AI forget function as well. So if we delete this function and the get player character function, this time we will drag off and type in AI forget actors this time, which takes in an array. We will promote this to a variable and we'll just leave the name as it is. And then out of on target perception updated, what we will do is we will drag off from actor and press equals equals, and then get a reference to our player character again, and then hook this up like so. Drag off and create a branch. If our actor is equal to our player character, we will simply continue on with the execution. But if our actor is one of our AI agents following the character, what we will do is we will add unique, And we will add those actors to our actors to forget array. And then after 3 seconds, we will forget the actors that have been placed in that array. And then we'll just hook up our print execution as well. So this time if we press play and again walk through our AI's line of sight, you'll see that this time it is the third person character that has been retained in memory, and both of our AI agents have been forgotten. So that's how these two functions work. Now there is a known limitation with the plugin version for Unreal Engine 5.4 and 5.5, which I will provide a workaround for now. The issue is that in Unreal Engine 5.4 and 5.5, the AI forget actors function successfully removes the actor or actors from memory, but doesn't trigger the on-target perception forgotten event. I will show you a workaround for this, but I'll open up a fresh project in Unreal Engine 5.5. So here we are in Unreal Engine 5.5. The following steps will be the same for Unreal Engine versions 5.4 and 5.5. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the project settings. So under Edit and Project Settings, and you want to scroll down to the section for Engine and then AI System, and you want to enable this setting here, Forget Stale Actors, and make sure that is true. In Unreal Engine version 5.6, this setting is enabled by default. If we go back to our AIC controller, and I'll show you a workaround so that we can get a forgotten event to fire. But to do this, what I will actually do is I'll delete the on-target perception forgotten event, and then off of begin play, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag out a reference to our AI perception component, and then drag off and type in bind event to on-target perception forgotten, and hook that up like so. And then from our pin here, we will go to event dispatches and create event. And I will create a matching event. And I'm just going to call this custom on target perception forgotten. And I will hook this up like so. And now what we need to do is call a custom event dispatcher whenever we want to forget the target. So we'll get our AI perception component again and call our AI forget actor function. I'll just feed in a reference to the player character. Now I'm going to go over to the bottom here where it says event dispatches. I'm going to create a new event dispatcher and I'll call this AI forgotten actor. And with the event dispatcher selected, we go over to the details panel, and then up here where it says inputs, I will add a parameter and I'll call this actor and change the parameter type to actor object reference and then compile. And now if we go back to our begin play, I'm going to drag a reference to our event dispatcher and drop it here and then select bind and then hook this up like so. And I'm going to bind the event delegate to the same create event node, which means that both the on-target perception forgotten event that comes with the AI perception component and our custom event dispatcher will be bound to the same custom event. So now that those are bound, we will go back to our AI forget target actor and then drag off the event dispatcher and then select call. To call the event dispatcher, we'll hook up the execution and feed in a reference to the actor that has been forgotten. Compile and save, and then we'll hook up our print logic again, and then when I press play, our agents are following me. I'll take them through the enemy's line of sight, and you'll see that our custom forgotten event is firing. Similarly, if you wanted to use the AI forget actors function instead, we would call the AI forget actors function. Hook in our actor array, and this time we would need to call the event dispatcher for each of our array elements. So we'll drag off and select for each loop. And we will disconnect this execution here and then hook up to the loop body, and the actor reference we will hook up to the array element. So this event dispatcher will be called for each array element in our array. And then once our for each loop is completed, we will then print which actors are currently still in memory. So we go and press play. You'll see that both our AI agents have been forgotten and the third person character remains in memory. So obviously not an ideal situation, but the plugin is still in beta. I will continue to work on this in the background, but that's the complete guide to setting up the Metaxis AI Perceptions Tool plugin. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you enjoy using the plugin in your own projects. Please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you in the next video.